Hi, welcome back, it's Susan. I'm jumping straight into this. I've cut out a lace edge die and I've just trimmed it because I just wanted 3 of these points of the lace. I'm using this stamp, which is a Woodware one. It's called Bold Blooms and it's named Fiona. So I'm going to put a little anti-static onto my cardstock, place it in the misty. I'm going to use VersaFine Clay in the Nocturne. Plenty of light taps. It is a really sizable stamp. Using the protector that I've made myself, the furniture protector on the bottom, and a spare doorknob as my stamping tool. Giving it another ink in, plenty of light taps. And I want to heat emboss this stamp just with clear. So making sure that that's had a good press. I'm using a Paper Mania clear embossing powder. And always heating the heat tool up first before I use it, just for those few seconds to get it hot. As soon as I see it changing colour, I move along. So that's done. I've got out some Derwent Inktense pencils, just 2 in a yellow and an orange for the flowers and 2 shades of green for the leaves. Now, when I put this down, I'm just doing flicking motions from the centre of the flower upwards, but not right up to the top of the petal. And although it looks like I'm not putting any colour down whatsoever, really, you will see that when I start to use another medium to it, it'll bring these colours to life. So just turning the work all the time as I'm flicking. So doing all those flowers first. It's a very quick process. And as you can see, the cardstock I'm using has got a texture to it. It's not a watercolour card at all, it's just a normal cardstock. Doing the buds as well, just from the base, sort of around halfway up. Then getting the orange to do the centre, just where that shading is to guide you. Then getting the greens, doing the same. I've got the darker green first and I'm just flicking up from the base of the leaf, then going through with the second colour. get a drink, relax. Colouring is just so soothing, calming and relaxing. And although this looks a little bit rough at the moment, you'll see in a little while it's all going to come together. Always doing that flicking motion. Now, because this isn't a watercolour card, and even though I do put water onto non-watercolour card to blend, today I'm not going to. I've decided to use a different pen. So we're nearly there. And it's time to activate those colours. So I've got my Zig Colour Real Brush. It's a 999 blender pen. I'm going to start with the flower. So going into that flicking motion with the blender pen, you can leave some areas at the tip of the petal that's still very pale. And you can see that those pencils just start to come into their own. And how quick is that? If you think you can't colour or you're no good at colouring, trust me, you are. So doing the buds, and when I've done the yellow, I'm going to wipe off on my copier paper the brush and then start on the leaves. And again, you can see that those greens blend together beautifully. And because you've got that slight texture with the paper, it just gives that added dimension. And with the Inktense pencils, you can go in afterwards as many times as you like to add another layer of colour. and the leaves are done. So I wiped off that nib, just going into the orange. As you can see, you can add more if you want to. Now I want to show you that you can put that blender to the actual tip of the pencil. Don't get any of the wood wet, but just take colour from the pencil and just go round and add more detail. I'm certainly not a colourist, an artist, I'm just a crafter, and these pencils make it so easy. You don't have to use the same products I'm using. Just have a look in your stamps. I'm sure you've got something that you can adjust to make this project. Taking it from that tip, just popping it at the base of the buds, just blending that colour through. And then the last one. So I've cut a tag out and chosen a small sentiment that I'm going to place in the centre of the tag. Using the VersaFine Clear in the Nocturne to stamp this out as well. Pressing very lightly on that sentiment and popping some more ink on. And I'm going to heat emboss this as well with the clear embossing powder. And again, heating that gun up before I take it to the work. I've chosen a small flower stamp, and I'm going to partially stamp this just at the top, and then again just at the bottom. Now my plan is I've got a torn edge die, and I'm going to die cut that out of the centre of the flower. And putting some colour to that flower as well, just with those pencils like I did on the main image. And using the Zig blender to do the blending out of the pencil. Just so that it all ties in with the design. So my backing is this gold paper, and I'm not measuring it, but I want to cut my main cardstock down a bit. I've just made that nail mark, and I'm going to just use that as my guide. Placing it back on just to see how big I'd like my border, just marking it with my nail again, and same at the bottom, and cutting that with the guillotine. And that's fine. I'm going to pop that centre up with the foam pads. It's foam tape that I've got. Putting it all on. I've got some Calal all-purpose glue, and I'm not putting any glue on the lace part, just on the main body of the cardstock. Getting that central on the gold. And I'm going to place it back in so that it's sort of an eclipse technique with that panel. Seeing where I'm going to do the tag, but I think I'm going to put a strip of that offcut with the gold across the front, and then have the tag anchored to that. So popping the Calal onto it. and having a look with the tag. So placing the tag down, just putting a little bit more colour onto those flowers, just like I did on the main image. And that's done. Cleaning that zig pen off, flipping it over and cutting that excess off, always from behind. So I've got my base card, and doing the Carlisle to pop it onto the base. Now this base card, it's a really sizable card. It's 8.5 by 5.25 inches. So it's a really good statement card. Definitely a special occasion type of a card, or just for someone special. I'm looking, I've got my Nouveau drops, just deciding what colour I'd like to go just with it. And although I do like it, I think I'm going to go with the yellow. So just testing like always to start. So I'm going to do quite a large one at the top, giving it a good squeeze. A medium-sized one on that side, and then a slightly smaller one at the base. And then where I've got that hole in the tag, I'm going to put one there as well. And that was Yellow Brick Road. So I hope you've liked it. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.